Hey guys, Greg Christensen here, Grandview Livestock. Had a guy call me and we was talking. He said, "What are you doing to get ready for this snowstorm that's supposed to hit? We're supposed to get, oh, it's up in there now, some ice and then 6 to 12 inches of snow, maybe." So here's what we're doing. If we go in when we're going to have an ice storm or something, we take some netting off of some of our hay, because it's more difficult to take off once it freezes on there or has quite a bit of snow and ice on it. And then we move some other bales. We left the netting on, but we moved them up here where we can get to them a lot easier, because, well, as you can see down in there, it's going to be kind of muddy. If it's supposed to start out maybe raining, snow, and if the ground freezes, that's not a problem, but if it can be pretty muddy down in there. So Quinn set those bales out, and actually we'll probably put out some hay tomorrow. There's really no animals that we're feeding hay to on a consistent basis, other than those ones we're growing for the sale back there. You see them all the time. Now they're eating about a bale a day. But other than those, everybody's got pretty good stockpiled forage to be on right now. But tomorrow we'll probably take a bale out to them. You want to fill them up before a storm, and they'll know a storm's coming. They seem to know it, and they'll start eating more. So, even though they're not eating much, well, any hay right now, we'll take everybody some hay tomorrow to get them filled up before the storm. And if we unroll some there, then we'll leave that core kind of bigger. So if it snows, then it won't just cover up all their hay. They'll have that core that's kind of sitting there, and they can find it and they can eat on it. And we may not even go there. Depends on a few things. But today, if it's snowing here on Wednesday real bad, and what I found is a lot of animals, or at least ours, they'll just stay hunkered up in the trees or down in a ravine or someplace out of the wind or some protection, and they won't eat much that day of the storm. And so yeah, we'll just see how bad it is and what it looks like, but we may not even check on them on Wednesday. A few places we may have to break ice. We'll see. But no, we'll try to fill them up before the storm hits. Is always a good idea. And one thing a lot of people do, I used to do it, but if you're feeding some grain, it's really not a good idea to say, "Oh, storm's coming in, we'll feed them extra." Actually, roughage your hay. I'd say feed the best hay you have in those deals, because it'll generate more heat in the rumen, roughage does, than your grain does actually, and that also heats the animal. So it's better to feed maybe more your high quality hay that day, or 2 or 3 there, if you have some bad weather coming in. And if you're not feeding any grain, then I'd say, yeah, absolutely don't say, "Hey, well, a storm's coming in, maybe I'll take them some corn today." That's probably not really a good idea. They'll just fill up on corn. They don't have the microbiology in the rumen to digest it properly. They're going to be more deficient as if you hadn't even fed it to them at all, if you haven't been feeding it to them. And so, but I'd give them, maybe some extra hay or your better quality hay on those kind of days. And of course, another thing we did today is fill these feeders up, but that wasn't really because there's a storm coming. It's just basically because they were empty, and so we had to do that. But people ask me, "Well, do you have shelter for all your animals to get in, or barns of some kind?" No, we don't. We've got places there's kind of some woods they can get in, or some hillsides they can get behind. Places they can go to get out of the wind is basically what they need. I mean, these animals were animals a long time before we started raising them. So no, we don't have anything special for them like a barn in every pasture or anything. Now this, where we got all these that we're feeding, there is this old loafing shed here. You can kind of see it. They can't all get in it. Some of them, they'll get on the south side of it there. Some will get behind that brush pile over there, where there's wind's really blowing. But no, we can't afford, or we don't have the resources to have that kind of buildings in every pasture. Yeah, so I guess another thing we're doing to get ready is putting the mud and snow tires on this pickup. I think we went all last year. We didn't put them on. Normally we just run these all-terrain tires. Rocks tear them up, but not quite so bad as they do those heavier tires. But Queen's putting them on. We've already got them on our other pickup. We put them on earlier. So we're getting that ready. Now this is the bunch that we sorted off. That's well, it was a little bit smaller, so we're feeding those by hand, just the same feed as the others get, but we're feeding them out here just in piles on the ground. So we'll take a bucket that weighs about 25 pounds. We'll put that bucket in 4 piles of feed. So these we've got them up to 12 buckets right now. There's 204 animals out here. So they can all get around that better. They don't have to compete so hard to get up to the feeders, or wait till there's nobody there and go up there and sneak a bite. And they're growing a lot better now. So, oh hey, I did want to tell you guys about a friend of mine, or actually somebody I just met. I just talked to him on the phone, but he's got a YouTube channel that's pretty interesting. You probably get a lot of good out of. Is Ben Hobbig. Ben is a young guy in Texas, and he's had goats, I don't know, maybe a couple years now, and some nannies. He grazes them on some other people's property, similar to what we do here. He uses poly wire. We actually built a poly wire unroller to put on our four-wheeler, kind of copied off what he had on one of his videos last winter. So I'll put a link to his video, and maybe to even the video that has his unroller in it. I'll put a link to that in the description, but you might check that out. Like I said, I think you get a lot of good. He's a different environment than we have, and a little different setup, but yet he raised them out on range and raised them sort of like we do. They're not backyard goats. He's got a lot milder climate than we do. I don't know if they're going to get any of this cold and snowy weather or not, but I think you'll get a lot of good out of Ben's channel, so check it out. So hey, I'm going to let you go. We're going to wrap things up for the day here in a little bit. So y'all have a good one.